by preferring a stranger before thy own sacred blood. May the flaming swords of our may the flaming swords of our forefathers turn upon us the wrath of Allah and strike us down 7 times. We pledge our allegiance to Prophet Noble Drew Ali under love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Time never was. And as is customary, we will start off with our Moorish American prayer. So if you're able, please rise with your feet at a 90-degree angle, 5 on the left and 2 on the right, and repeat after me the Moorish American prayer. Allah, the Father of the universe,
Father of the universe,
the Father of love,
of love,
truth,
truth,
peace,
peace,
freedom,
freedom,
and justice.
and justice.
Allah is my protector,
Allah is my protector,
my guide, and my salvation
my God and my salvation,
by night and by day,
night and by day.
through his holy prophet,
Through his holy prophet,
Drew Ali.
Drew Ali.
Amen. Islam. So if you're able, please remain standing or just stay on high as we recite the divine constitution and bylaws. Salvation, Allah, unity, the Moorish Science Temple of America, the divine constitution, and bylaws. Act 1. The Grand Sheik and the chairman of the Moorish Science Temple of America is empowered to make law and enforce laws with the assistance of the Prophet and the grand body of the Moorish Science Temple of America. The assistant Grand Sheik is to assist the Grand Sheik in all affairs if he lives according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and it is known before the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Act 2. All meetings are to be opened and closed promptly, according to the Circle 7, in love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Friday is our holy day of rest, because on a Friday the first man was formed in flesh, and on a Friday the first man departed out of flesh, and ascended unto his Father God Allah. For that cause, Friday is the holy day for all Muslims all over the world. Act 3. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice must be proclaimed and practiced by all members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. No member is to put in danger or accuse falsely his brother or sister on any occasion at all that may harm his brother or sister, because Allah is love. Act 4. All members must preserve these holy and divine laws, and all members must obey the laws of the government, because by being a Moorish American, you are a part and partial of the government and must live the life accordingly. Act 5. This organization of the Moorish Science Temple of America is not to cause any confusion or to overthrow the laws and constitution of the said government, but to obey hereby. Act 6. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are a part and a partial of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Drew Ali, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites, whom inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All members must promptly attend their meetings and become a part and partial of all uplifting acts of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Members must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Then you are entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become a part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds true with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, through the guidance of his father God, Allah. Islam.
Islam.
Islam, Islam. First we rise, we give complete and perfect praise to Allah, who is the author, creator, the governor of the world, almighty, eternal, and incomprehensible. We extend honors to his illustrious prophet, Noble Drew Ali, for restoring our nationality and teaching us the truth about our birthrights here in northwestern Mexico. We extend honors to the Harbinger Marcus Mosiah Garvey for paving the way, telling the nation to prepare to meet the common prophet who will bring the true and divine creed of Islam. We give honors to Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, and Confucius for their teachings, the lessons, the holy texts. We give honors to all past and present leaders of the Moorish Science Temple of America, everybody that's making sacrifices and contributing to the uplifting of fallen humanity. Honors to our Supreme Grand Sheik, Ken Bay, Tyrone Harris Bay, who has blessed us with his presence today, who will be leading us in this class, but honors to him for living his life according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And it is known before the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Honors to the flags, making us Moorish American, to the charter, the ten wonders of the world, to each and every one of you, your mama, your daddy, your cousins, and all of them, your friends, your foes. Honors to all things Moorish. Islam, Islam, Islam. Welcome to the second installment of our National Koran Study Class. So, last week, for those that might have missed it, we started last week and we went over the Holy Koran of the Moorish Science Temple of America. The logo Circle 7, divinely prepared by the noble prophet Drew Ali, by the guiding of his father God Allah, the great God of the universe, to redeem man from his sinful and fallen stage of humanity back to the highest plane of life with his father God Allah. Know thyself and Allah, the genealogy of Jesus, life and works of Jesus in India, Europe, and Africa, in the land of Egypt. So, for those that again, if this is your first time, welcome. Every Wednesday, you're free to tune in. Welcome to tune in to this public Koran study class, which will be led by leaders, our leadership within the Moorish Science Temple of America. Before I get into really have our Grand Sheik get into the lessons, into the Koran, I just want to read one excerpt, and then I'm going to call up our Supreme Grand Sheik and let him lead us through today's class. And just the excerpt I would like to read is entitled "The Moorish Science Temple of America." So just to be clear, so everybody can have a firm understanding of the purpose of our organization, what we're doing, the mission, the purpose of our organization was we were founded for the purpose of uplifting fallen humanity. That is the mission that we're here to do. And this excerpt that I'm going to read from the Moorish literature, just a reminder, just to give an overview of some of the strategies and things that we're focused on as an organized group. And we hope that you can come amongst us, listen, learn, contribute, and ultimately proclaim your nationality, because nationality is the order of the day, and apply these lessons to improve your character, because that's the definition of nationality. It's the quality of character which arises from the fact that a person belongs to a nation. So when we say nationality is the order of the day, we're talking about your character is the order of the day. How you conduct yourself, how you treat yourself, how you treat your family members, your friends, your loved ones. But let me get into it before I get on my soapbox. The Moorish Science Temple of America was founded by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Aside from the fact that it is a legally organized religious corporation, it is building on human needs. To this desirable end, in time, legitimate means will be found to dispense charity and provide for the mutual assistance of its members in time of distress, to aid in the improvement of health, and to encourage the ownership of better homes, to find employment for our members, to teach those fundamental principles which are desired for our civilization, such as obedience to law, respect and loyalty to government, tolerance, and unity. It is most earnestly hoped that the Moorish Science Temple of America will not in any way be confused with any Back to Africa movement. Such is not important insofar as American citizens of our group colonizing Africa are concerned. We of the Moorish Science Temple of America, like countless other American citizens, know that we must live together here in America in harmony, friendship, and goodwill, whatever our race and creed may be. It is only from a purely religious standpoint, it seems at this time, that we differ from a large number of our fellow Americans. We believe in and foster the Muslim religion. We believe in the principles of its teachings, insofar that can be adopted to American life. We feel that the Christian religion is all right for those who prefer it. In America, religious freedom is guaranteed all under the Constitution. We are interested in freeing ourselves and our children from the greatest plight, economic slavery. We believe this can be best done by encouraging, patronizing, and establishing our own business enterprises and cultivating our own acres of land. We welcome into our folds men and women of our group of all sections, all trades, occupations, and professions of sound mind and good character. Can you hold on, baby? Just give me a second. Okay. We are friends and servants of humanity. We are dedicated to the purpose of elevating the moral, social, and economic status of our people. We have set about to do this through a wide and comprehensive program embodying the principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Islam, Islam, Islam. Now, just to reiterate, obviously, as what we just read, just a reminder that we believe in the Muslim religion. We foster the principles of its teachings. And insofar, we believe they can be adopted into American life. That is what you can expect from coming to these Holy Koran classes. Every Wednesday, we're going to go over a different chapter in the Holy Koran. And please take heed to these divine instructions from the Holy Prophet, as they are intended to assist you in your development as you unfold into being yourself. Um, and it's going to give you insight to how you practice the Muslim religion. Now, what is our religion? Islamism. So, with that, um, before I call up our beloved Supreme Grand Sheik, just let me talk about him briefly so y'all can know. He's a great brother, great leader, been in the movement for many, many years, longer than I've been on the face of the earth. And it's taught me a lot just in how he conducts himself and how he carries himself as a leader. And I think that he's definitely one of the best teachers around applying these lessons around nationality and divine creed. So I assure you, you're in for a treat tonight. But again, engage, ask questions, participate, and most importantly, be an active listener and participate in today's class. So with that, I'm gonna call up our Supreme Grand Sheik, and I'm here for whatever you need me to demonstrate on, Grand Man. But I would like to call you to the floor to lead us in chapter 47, Islam.
Islam, first of all, I want to give praise due to Allah, honor to his holy and divine prophet, Noble Drew Ali, founder of our Moorish kingdom here in North America. I want to give honor to Brother Mark and Messiah Gabri, forerunner of the prophet Noble Drew Ali. Intelligent rules the world, ignorant cares its burden. To our two flags, which make us Moorish American. To our charter and its 10 wonders of the world. Grand Chiefs, governors, heads of all temples, all business. Give honor to our supreme spokesperson who opened this meeting according to the Circle 7 in love, true peace, freedom, and justice. I want to give honor to all those who are online. May Allah continue to bless you in your endeavors, in your learning, in your love for the movement, in your love for humanity. I won't be touching down on 47, but I will be in the 47 with you. But what I want to do is touch down on the chapter on inconstancy. And the reason I wanted to touch on that, because before we can even entertain the mastery teachings of the Holy Prophet Noble Drew Ali, we have to find some stability within our character. So I want to deal with the chapter on inconstancy, chapter 41, and I'll read it in its entirety, then I'll articulate on it, then I'll turn the meeting back over to our supreme spokesperson. Divine instructions from the Holy Prophet, the holy instruction from the prophet inconstancy. Nature urged thee to inconstancy. O man, therefore guard thyself at all times against it. Thou art from the womb of thy mother various and waving, from the loin of thy father, thou inherit instability. How then shalt thou be firm? Those who gave thee a body furnish it with weakness, but he who gave thee a soul armed thee with resolution. Applaud it, and thou art wise. Be wise, and thou art happy. Let him who do well beware how he boasts of it, for rarely is it of his own will. Is not the event of an impulse from without born uncertainty, enforced by accident depend on somewhat else, and to thee and to accident is due the praise. Beware of irresolution in the intent of thy action. I want to go to verse 6 again. Beware of ill resolution in the intent of our action. Beware of instability in the execution. So shall thou trample over too great felling of thy nature. What reproach reason more than to act contrary? What can suppress the tendencies to these but firmness of mind? The inconstant feel it that he changed, but he know it not why. He see that he escaped from himself, but he perceive not how. Be thou incapable of change in that which is right, and men will rely upon thee. Establish unto thyself principles of action, and see that thou ever act accordingly to them. So shall thy passion have no rule over thee. So shall thy consistency, ensure unto thee the good thou possessest, and drive from thy door misfortune and anxiety, and disappointment shall be strangers to thy gate. Suspect not evil in anyone until thou see it. When thou see it, forget it not. Whoso has been an enemy cannot be a friend, for man meaneth not his fault. How should his action be right who has no rule of his life? Nothing could be just which proceeded not from reason. The inconstant has no peace in his soul, neither can be at ease whom he can concern himself with. His life is unequal. His motion are irregular. His soul changes with the weather. Today he loved thee. Tomorrow thou detested by him. And why? Himself know it not, wherefore he now hated. Today he is the tyrant. Tomorrow thy servant is less humble. And why? He who is arrogant without power will be servile where there is no subjection. Today he is profuse. Tomorrow he grudgeth unto his mouth that which he should eat. Thus it is with him who knoweth not moderation. Who shall say of the chameleon he is black, when the moment after the verdure of the grass overspread him? Who shall say of the inconstant he is joyful, when his next breath shall be spent in singing? What is the life of such a man but the phantom of a dream? In the morning he rides happy, at noon he's on the rack. This hour he is a god, the next below a worm. One moment he laughed, the next he weep. He now will it in an instant, he will it not. And in another, he knoweth not whether he will or not. Yet neither ease nor pain had fixed themselves on him. Neither is he waxed greater or become less. Neither had he had cause for laughter or reason for his sorrow. Therefore shall none of them abide with him. The happiness of inconstant is as a pallet built on the surface of the sand. The blowing of the wind carry away its foundation. What wonder then that it's fallen? But what exalted form is this, that hempward direct is uninterrupted course, whose foot is on earth, whose head is above the cloud. On his brow setteth majesty, steadiness is in his port, and in his heart regain tranquility. Though obstacle appear in his way, he dealt it not to look down upon them. Though heaven and earth oppose his passage, he proceeded. The mountains seek beneath the treads of his feet. Pardon me. The treads, pardon me. The mountains sink beneath his tread. The water of the ocean are dry up under the sole of his foot. The tiger threw herself across his way in vain. The spot of the leopard glow against him unregarded. He marched through the embattled legend with his hands, putting aside the terror of death. Storm roar against his shoulder, but are not able to shake them. The thunder bursts over his head in vain, and lightning serving, but to show the glory of his countenance. His name is resolution. His name is resolution. He coming from the utmost part of the earth. He see happiness afar off before him. His eyes discovered the temple beyond the limit of the pole. He walked up to it and he entered boldly, and he remaining there forever. Establish thy heart, O man, in that which is right, and then know the greatest of human is to be immutable. I chose to read that lesson because it gives us a sense of stability, of knowing that we are from the womb of thy mother, embarrassed and waving from the loin of thy father. Those are two human qualities. Also, it states that nature urges thee. There's a behavior in nature that urges you and I to inconstancy. So when we establish ourselves as members of the Moorish Science Temple of America, we have to straighten out those ungainly parts. We have to untie those knots that has been perpetuated from line genealogy of our family. A lot of times we jump into the lessons and we just read them. Well, it's a fact that it's easier to teach the truth than to live it. However, without a foe, a soldier never knows his strength. And the only way you can know your strength is by overcoming the obstacles within your life. We as members of the Moorish Science Temple of America have to study our higher and our lower self, the qualities thereof, and the deterioration through the mercury ethers of the flesh of the carnal self, the body of desire. Because when we're dealing in life, these things can raise up on us, make decisions for us, put us in awkward position, and put us in an illusional position to think that we are traveling on a high road. See, Allah gave us resolution, the determining factor, the will to live. He gave us the resolution in the intent of thy action, in the intent of thy action. And he gave us that we may be diaphed in spirit and conscious, reason with authority. I wanted to go into that chapter because the greatest of human is to be immutable, unchangeable. See, when you're consistent with these lessons, then you're getting it done. But when you are playing the fool by half, not saying anyone is doing that, but that's a general statement, you are neglecting the chapter on sincerity. Because in sincerity, it teaches us that, O thou who are enamoured, another word for love, with the beauty of truth, and have fixed our heart where we meet Allah on the simplicity of her charm. It's instruct us to hold fast our fidelity, our trust, and forsake it not, in respect of the situation, what we're going through, to hold fast to the fidelity and let the truth activate itself in our lives. Now, studying our Holy Koran, we have to understand it teaches us to know thyself, to contemplate thy frame, to figure out where you're coming up short, and also where you are establishing a great portion of granted universal love from Allah. Allah talked to man through man. So the question is, how often do you talk to Allah? Now, we know we have a creation and fall of man, chapter 1. In chapter 1, it talks about man being a thought of Allah. And it talks about this thought being from the everlasting past into the never-ending days to come. But greater than that, it talks about man being the very attribute of Allah. So when we look at the chapter on inconstancy, we have to figure out, are we consistent with the program of the Holy Prophet Noble Drew Ali? Are we in line with love? Because love is the only savior of the world. This love is a manifesting fact on you being one with Allah. So we have to reason with authority and understand that this soul that we have, it has some action. They have some action. And the action of the soul is thinking, reason, willing, and understanding. We have to control that according to our da'afit life, our God-like conscious. We cannot just perpetuate these thoughts and think that they're going to unfold just because we read them. The advantage do not lie in possessing good things, but in knowing to use them. We have to use these chapters in this Quran to fix ourselves with the resolution of Allah, the determining factor. Because those two great fellows of our nature, our mothers and fathers, have a line genealogy of imperfection as well as perfection. And we have to study those demonstrations in our everyday life, in our dealing with men, women, etc., etc., that we may be near the pinnacle of wisdom. So my spiel, in conjunction with the divine spokesman, is that in order to digest these teachings, we got to exercise our five senses, because we have not really got in the depths of the murky ethers of the flesh. It's gloomy. So if you have not pulled that away where you can see the marvelous light in the bond of perfection, then like the fool starting all over again. And this is why we have all these mishaps in our lives, because we play the fool by half. Now, that's a general statement. That's not directed at anyone, because that can affect all of us in our dealing with humanity. But if we're going to start uplifting fallen humanity, we have to first start with ourselves. And we have to qualify ourselves on the teachings that we proclaim to be a part and parcel of. We are members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. We're also members of the Moorish National and Divine Movement of North America. We are supposed to be involved in shaking the ethers, moving the ethers, bringing about those lawfully wisdom that come from the highest planes of spirit life. And how do we do that? By knowing ourselves, our higher self and our lower self. Because once man knows of his higher self, he knows Allah. He don't have to deal with hypocrisy, pretending that he's something that he's not. He knows that Allah is in him through his attribute. And through that attribute, he knows he's the seed of Allah. So you have to water that seed with the bond of perfection, so he may learn to love instead of hate. So I just wanted to put that out there so we can have an understanding that we are brothers and sisters by the same universal law. We have one God, Allah, and this Allah lives within us. And we have to learn to love instead of hate. Learn it. Don't say you love, learn it. Learn how to love instead of hate. See, because once we get into this interpretation of love, we get all type of imaginal perfections and thoughts that we near that. But it's how we treat each other, how we care for each other, how we care for our loved one, our family, etc., etc., and how we building on the industrious acts of the Muslim. Because if we really love each other, we would champion our nation, not someone else's nation. There's nothing wrong with learning from another nation, but remember, we are a part of our own pedigree, our own descent nature line. So may Allah continue to bless you. I'm going to be on here listening and growing with you. And this Koran class is one of the greatest opportunities for us to get an understanding of ourselves before we try to get an understanding of somebody else. You know, you can point somebody else's fault and feelings out, but understand you have your own. You know what I'm saying? And man need a pattern. And Prophet Noble Ali is our pattern. And if we follow the prophet, we're going to enter the mansion of eternal felicity in the paradise of Allah. Because we're going to continue to be happy, because we're going to continue to be content. When you're not content, then you got a lot of problems. You're running into issues and, you know, debates. Stay away from debates. You know, man knows not by being told anyway. So what's the argument? What's the benefit of a debate if it's not fruitful? So we have to raise our thoughts to infinite wisdom. And we have to see omnipotent display before us. How do we do that? It's by contemplating our frame. Our frame. Fearfully and wonderfully art thou made. Who made you? Allah. Who is Allah? He's the father of the universe. Can we see him? No. Now you may just say no and leave it at that, but the prophet was trying to tell us something when he said no. You know what I'm saying? That's our biggest problem. We can't see Allah in each other. But once we learn to raise our thoughts to infinite wisdom and enjoy the resurrection of the great God Allah, then we know we're near the pinnacle of wisdom. And my final thought is this. As the bird enclosed in the cage before he see it, yet not tear his flesh against his side. So neither thou labor vainly to run the state thou art in. You know what life is. You know what honey is to the bee. What the carcass is to the vulture. That is what life is to the heart of man. And if we're meeting Allah in the heart, what type of conversation are we having with this great Allah? You know, does it transcend to our action, our deeds? So let us learn to love instead of hate. Let us be one with Allah, and the great meeting is on. Thank you. May Allah bless you. And we're going to turn it back over to our supreme spokesman. Peace and love.
But Islam, it's a lot to process there. Islam. Praise Allah. Before we go any further, I just want us to reflect on what our Supreme Grand Sheik just demonstrated. I want you to really ask yourself the questions that he asked and really examine where are you along the road. And if you were listening, you should have felt some portion of that measure applying to you, because these lessons apply to everybody with a mother and a father. So you ever feel like, man, they talking to me? Yes, we are all the children of one father. Yes, we all have different levels of where we are in our development and unfoldment. I really love how he made the emphasis around, and the consistent question that I kept hearing was, are you in conjunction with the prophet's movement? Are you dealing with the inconstancy within yourself? Are you truthful with yourself? And before we go any further, I want to open the floor for any questions about what you just heard. And I know sometimes when you're hearing Moors demonstrate, it's fiery. It could inspire you. So even if you were inspired and uplifted, and maybe you want to share a takeaway that you took away from this and something that you're going to apply differently to conquer the inconstancy in your life. And if you have the courage for truth and willingness to share with us as a group, please do so. The floor is open for questions, comments, thoughts, interpretations, and takeaways about what he demonstrated, or just a chapter of inconstancy in general. And I'm grateful that he took us there, because it forced me to examine myself. The whole time he's talking, I'm contemplating my frame. I'm like, man, am I debating? Man, when he read the chapter, instruction 23, the happiness of the inconstant is a palace built on the surface of the sand. It made me examine my happiness. Is my happiness consistent? Am I finding moments to where I'm not happy? Is that inconstancy rising within me? And that'd be my question. I'll start with the questions for the Supreme Grand Sheik. Do you think that's an accurate interpretation? That in moments in life to where, and I'm talking about myself, any moment in life where I'm finding unhappiness within my circumstances and situation, is it inconstancy arising in my life? And when you say contemplate thy frame, can you elaborate a little bit more? I got an idea of what you mean by that, but I want to hear from you.
Islam, praise Allah. When you contemplate your frame, you're studying yourself. You're studying your daily dealing with outwardly communication with people, and how you treating yourself and maintaining your public image. When you contemplate your frame, you're deeply rooted into the attributes of Allah. You're looking at, are you incorporating that potencies, that persuading power of Allah to straighten out the crooked way of the path? Also, what you're doing when you're contemplating your frame, you're going to the workshop of the mind, where things are made of thought. But you're not going there empty-handed. You're going there with the tools in the workshop of the mind. Once we begin to use those tools on ourselves rather than try to use them on someone else, then we near the pinnacle of wisdom. See, contemplating your frame give you time to meditate on the wonders of Allah's love. And that love is deeply rooted in each and every one of us that's on this line. It's not on this line. So that's my portion on contemplating your frame. Know thyself and Allah. Peace.
Mm. Islam. Islam. Thank you for that clarity and for sharing your portion. That's very fruitful. And it's definitely something that I'm going to take away and continue to apply in my life because I think we all share the same goals. We want to be happy in life. We want peace on earth and goodwill to all. We want to have that boundless joy. So while the floor is still open, I would love to, again, the floor is open for questions. Don't all raise your hand at once and don't act shy. You know, you came to a Koran study class. I hope you know we're here to study together. So when you have access to some of the teachers who've taken time out of our lives and days to come here, seize the moment. So Islam, Sister Diamond, you have the floor, sis.
I ain't have so much of a question, but a thought from when you got to 31B. His name is Resolution. And you made a point of saying, are you being intangible? Like, and it put me in the mind frame of like, are we the things that's going on in our minds that we say that we know, we say that we have faith in, is our bodies doing something different, and it shows that imbalance. And then I thought about coming, presenting yourself as you aren't actually, if that makes sense. Like it just put me in that mind. Like, are we really being what we know? We say we know one thing, is we walking out and being something totally different. That's irresolution. You got irresolution with yourself. You go back in the house and you like, ugh. But it's okay to be like that if you like, but it ain't cool to just let that slide.
Well, dear sister, the thought is developed by the exercise of strength. And the will of man make possible the action of the holy breath. We're dealing with holy breath. The holy breath is the truth. So when we find ourselves stuck between those two great felons of our nature, that's the time to go back and contemplate and meditate on the wonders of Allah's love, because there's only two things in the world. The one is truth and the other is falsehood. And if one consistently changes, you know that's not what it is. So we have to constantly ponder the lessons on ourselves and how we treat others. You know, in the resolution, ill resolution, it's when you kind of like break down and give in to other things. Notice this: you have instability of man. Then you have the chapter inconstancy. They next door to each other in our Holy Koran. And instability is powerful in the heart of man. What does that mean? That's where we meet Allah at. If instability is powerful in our heart, how can we ever find the stability and maintain the course of being one with Allah? See, we have to raise our thoughts to infinite wisdom, and we, through our sentinel that watch for thee, we have to see omnipotent displayed before us, the power to control our surrounding outwardly and inwardly. We can do that when we study self. But when we continue to perpetuate the murky ethers of the flesh by giving in to illusions, you know, where one think he's most strong, that is where they are most weak. Focus there, where you think you're most strong at. That's where you're most weak. And once we galvanize that area, we're near the pinnacle of wisdom. We're one with Allah. There's no spookism anymore in science. There's no hocus pocus because you'll lose your focus. None of that resides in the MST of A. What you have to do is know thyself. So you're on the line of what you're saying. You just have to be steadfast and be immutable, unchangeable. The greatest of human, the greatest of human is to be immutable, unchangeable. Peace.
Islam. Praise Allah and honor to his prophet, man, for those measures and demonstrations. I hope y'all are taking some notes and taking this feedback serious because good lessons being taught and spread here. And I see we have our Grand Sheik out of Indiana, Grand Sheik Page Bay, with his hand up. And Islam, Grand Sheik, you have the floor. I would love to hear what you got to share with us tonight, sir.
Islamism. Rise giving all praise to Allah and highest honors to his holy and illustrious prophet, Noble Jew Ali. Honors to our Supreme Grand Sheik and all of the members and staff of the Unity Moorish Science Temple of America, the Grand Body, and all those branch temples, and all the members, all the guests here tonight. Honors to you, and also to our forerunner, Marcus Mosiah Garvey. But quick question for our Supreme Grand Sheik. I got the Grand Man on the line. I wanted to know when we look at instruction 12, I've always wondered about instruction 12 and just asking for a little interpretation or more clarity when he says, whoso hath been an enemy cannot be a friend, for men mendeth not his faults. Because that, when we get into the realms of brotherhood and how we deal with affairs as Moors, we always trying to strive into love instead of hate. And so when we run into enemy spirits or those who might not have our best intention in mind, and they cannot be a friend, if I could get a little clarity or interpretation on the idea that we can't be his friend because men is not his faults. Islam, I yield.
Oh, Islam, Grand Sheik, Islam, praise Allah. Whoso has been an enemy cannot be a friend. An enemy is a foe. A foe is something you have to overcome and conquer. Man is not his foe. Islam, he's reasoning with his own backward thinking, and he's perpetuating a life to destroy through envy, jealousy, or what it may be, to destroy that. So an enemy, once again, is a foe. And a foe is something that you conquer, you overcome. Now, now let me put this in the right perspective, because we don't want nobody to misinterpret a bad conversation that it has to somebody, or they don't like somebody and they think that's an enemy. Enemy is somebody that's coming to destroy you. Just make that perfectly clear. The enemy is somebody that's coming to destroy you, the deceitful, and has his own agenda. That can't be a friend at all. So trying to mend the broken wires with that one, it's not going to unfold. And that's the best I can give you on that. I'm in the conquering folks, not falling in love with them. Peace.
Islam, gratitude, Grand Sheik. It makes me think of just like the lower self. That's that enemy, and you really can never befriend him because he's always seeking whom he may devour. Islam, I yield.
Thank you, brother. Grand Sheik.
Islam. That was an amazing question. And do you see the beauty of asking questions and how they can open doors and get different portions and interpretations and clarity? That's why I encourage you, if you're here and listening, and if you have a question, please raise your hand, unmute your line, because we're all here to learn together and grow together. And I got a question too. Another one. Well, actually, before I get into another one, the floor is open for a moment. Anybody got a question or even comment or thought? Preferably questions, because we have one of the best teachers on the line. So you should seize this moment and ask. And you can ask anything pertaining to nationality and divine creed. Anybody?
Yeah, I want to interject this. Praise Allah unto His prophet.
Islam.
When you go to verse 11 in the same chapter, I don't want to stay on this chapter because your chapter is 47, so I want you to carry on with the meeting. But verse 11, when you look at verse 11, it says, suspect not evil in anyone until thou see it. When thou see, forget it not. Suspect not evil in anyone until thou see it. When thou see it, forget it not. Now, you have to know what evil is to classify it. Islam, you just can't look at a person and say they're evil. You have to bear witness to their action on how they dealing with life and people in general. So that's in conjunction with verse 12. I just wanted to add that to the grand sheet. Yes, sir. Peace.
Islam.
Islam.
Islam, Sister D,
Islam.
ship me, babe.
Islam. Praise Allah, honest to our prophet. Brother Supreme Grand Sheik. With that being said, the suspect not evil in anyone until thou seest it. So does that mean that we're potentially in danger of making unfair judgments on people because of what we might think is evil or understand as evil without seeing it?
Well, we know the
Is it
sin.
possible?
Yes, the sin lie in the wish and the desire, not the act. And to make judgment on anyone as being evil, it has to be an action. You just can say individual is evil and they have never done nothing to you, or you have circumscribed their character based on what you want them to be or what you think they should be, and you start calling it evil. Evil has a condition that it brings forth. Islam?
Islam. Gratitude.
Sure.
Islam. Islam, we see a wandering prophet. You have your hand up. You have the floor.
Islam Grand Sheik, Grand Sheiks, Islam Nobles, the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. I want to say, knowing what, in regards to knowing what evil is and what evil isn't, I think that's a feeling that, because Allah is in man, so I think we instinctively feel what evil is, rather than knowing what it is. So when we see it, we feel it rather than know it. We feel that it's evil, so we know it's evil. I think that's how that plays out. Just because a child knows not to, do wrong, in a sense of it feels bad, it feels wrong, it feels like they shouldn't be doing this. I think that's how evil works. I never like that's a great question. How does one know what evil is when they see it? But I think it's more of a feeling. So I yield the floor, Islam.
Let me straighten something out. Man knows nothing about being told. If he would know, he must be what he knows. Feelings are emotions, sprays. It come and goes. You can interpret one character in the wrong way. And evil is an action, a performance of deceitful plan to destroy that which is divinity, divine. Evil is not just I feel that you evil. No, no such thing. I just want to put that according to the Quran. Man knows nothing by being told. He must know. So look for no evil. Look. Don't go out trying to seek it and point it out. For no man until thou see it, not feel it. The Quran said, until thou see it. We follow in the Prophet Noble Drew Ali footprints, which are clearly cut. So if you don't see it, and seeing it is a condition, something being done, or you being affected by it. Islam.
Islam. So I have a question in conjunction with this thought while we're on this topic of evil. This is for you, our Supreme Grand Sheik. Would you say that that maybe the confusion or the misinterpretation that we have around evil could be rooted in propaganda or misinformation that's been promoted to us, or maybe European psychology?
Yeah, that's very evil. When you distort people's mind to take their nationality, their birthright, and the ancient divine creed, that is the ultimate act of evil.
Mm. Mm. And while we're on this topic, I just pulled up the definition because sometimes I think it's good for us to be technical to ensure we have a alignment with exactly what it means. And the technical definition of evil is just profoundly immoral and wicked. It's profoundly immoral.
That's right.
So any acts, words, or deeds that is just profoundly immoral, they're just downright bad, it's wicked, ungodly. These are some of the synonyms according to the Google definition. Ungodly, dishonorable, corrupt, degenerate, sinister, diabolic, malicious, vicious, demonic. All of these are characteristics and attributes of being evil. And again, to hammer that point that our Supreme Grand Sheik helped provide clarity in using the definition from the Koran, is based off of acts. It's what you actually do. And if we really just reflect and interpret that instruction to suspect not evil in anyone until thou seest, when thou seest, forget it not. So don't walk around with a suspicious thought. Don't go presuming. In other words, don't be pessimistic when looking at people. Don't presume that somebody is trying to do evil, because to the question that our sister Ashika's D. Shipman Bay posed, which around, hey, could it be our definition and interpretation of evil? And it was made clear that yes. And a pessimistic mind will cause us to look at people and people's mistakes and errors in their ways and think, oh, that person was evil. When, nah, man, people make errors and mistakes. We're dealing with human frailties. And in that process, we each have an opportunity to make that speedy reparation. So I challenge everybody to really examine everything that you hear today and tonight and have heard thus far and apply it to you. Something that was profound that our Supreme Grand Sheik said as well, but he was demonstrating, was the importance of you using these lessons on you and not for other people.
Right.
This is for us. So are we doing that? I've had to examine myself, because I've had the tendency to do that at times. I would look at somebody or something or a scenario or situation, and I would presume that it was evil. And through this instructions and through these lessons, I'm able to identify that, hey, that's inconstancy in me that's causing me to be pessimistic. And I don't want my happiness to be built on the surface of the sand with the blowing of the wind carried away its foundation. No, I need my happiness to be solid. So I got to root myself in the science of happiness and study that to make sure that I'm not my brain, because if thought is the cause of it all, then absolutely a pessimistic thought, pessimistic energy will backfire on us and cause us to suspect evil in other people. And they're not evil, man. Most people don't really have malicious intent. A great question that I was asked when I first came to the Moorish Science of America, one question was, do you see love in the world? It's a great question. And I'll just leave it at that. And let's go to, I see we got more hands up. So let me engage the audience. So let's see. Who wants to go first? We got a couple of hands up. Paris Hardy, Islam. You have the floor.
Islamism. I rise to give perfect praise to Allah, honest to his prophet, honest to the harbinger, Marcus Messiah Garvey, honest to the Supreme Grand Sheik, King Umar Bey, honest to his official staff, honest to everyone on this live, everything Morris, etc. My reason for speaking is because of instruction 11 in the chapter of inconstancy. Suspect not evil in anyone until thou see it. To go around suspecting evil in people is a trait of misery. And thought is the cause of it all. So that's actually a point where one would be manifesting a bad experience. Just like when Jesus was teaching the people of human equality, and his followers was saying that it was going to be a bad day for him because and they are showing him like an ass because he was teaching extortioners, thieves, and courtesans. And he said that, he's not doing it for fame, but they were suspecting evil, but Jesus told him that their souls are just as precious as theirs. So just and we got our own traits in times where we showed evil qualities. So definitely don't suspect evil out of people, you know what I'm saying, until you see it. Because it can't be justifiable if you don't have a reason. You just can't suspect the evil and he don't have a reason. That's not justice. That's not fair. So yeah, that's really I yield.
Let me respond to your measurement. Good measure, though. Good analyzation of the Holy Koran. When it says in the chapter, nature urges thee to inconstancy, we have to stay there. We have a nature that sometimes give us a wandering mind. When you're not navigating your five senses, you are subject to change, and there's no harmony. The prophets say in the know thyself, and this is for all of us, to know thyself, weak and ignorant as thou art, O man, humble as thou oughtest to be. Now, if you look at that humbleness and go back to your front of your Quran, where it talks about man tearing himself away from Allah, where he debasing himself to the sense of brute, where his mind is always in the mud, where he's always engaging in conflict memory or thinking on how people perceiving them. A lot of times we are in that mode based on what we think that others think of us. And that could be evil in itself because you're distorting the mind. But when you raise your thoughts to infinite wisdom, you don't let that snake, that meanness, that strikes out and judge people based on what I think, without having any engagement and experience. If you don't experience conflict, you don't experience disrespect, you don't experience any of those things that would call you to communicate your thoughts, because to react on feelings, not saying all feelings are not correct in truth, but truth is beyond feelings. And we as Moorish American Muslims, we don't indulge into feelings or emotions because they're like sprays of a can, they come and go. But the Mo is right in verse 11 that we shouldn't look for no evil. See, the prophets say, look, You're looking for evil. So you're incorporating it within your own mind rather than codifying that particular thirst, that particular desire, and push it to the side and say, no, that's my brother or that's my sister, because we all got a lower self. We all got a carnal self. We all got a body of desire. Most people carry a shovel with them. And what do I mean by that? In order to distort one character, people like bringing up their past. Even if they're transitioning and transforming, they still want to bring up their past. And that's evil within itself because they are not letting the individual grow and unfold as does the bud unfold to show the flower. So this is a very deep chapter. As I said when I first opened up, is that we have to incorporate this Quran to our character, to our deeds and our ways in life, and how we treat each other and how we treat society, because we got some divine signs here. Islam.
Woo-wee. Islam. Before I go back to the floor, I want to read just from the comment section, and I would love for either one of you brothers that commented to kind of elaborate on your thoughts if you're able and willing to. But I see the brother Divine L made a comment in the comment section, and it reads, "Masterminds judge things by what they are, not by what they seem to be. Suspect
Right.
not evil until thou seest it." Meaning, what does the lower self breed? Example, manifest by thought, word, or deed. Meaning, what fruit does that tree bear?
That's right.
And if you don't mind, brother Divine L, I would love for you to elaborate if you're able. I know you put it in the comment section for a reason, but if you're able to speak to that, love for you just to elaborate on your portion there.
Honest to Allah, honest to all true and divine prophets, honest to the Moors, Islam. It basically was self-explanatory, basically that mastermind judge things by what they are, not what they seem to be. A lot seems to be, being that we only see 186,000 miles per second. We only see about 7 colors off the spectrum. So we have a very limited view. Being human beings, we're thoughts of Allah manifested in flesh. So we know that the flesh is finite. It'll pass away. So you got a lot that seems to be, because we only see a little bit of the teeming thoughts, and so therefore, thoughts, words, and deeds is how we to judge one's mastery. You know what I mean? So you don't want to you what you want to do is you want to judge the fruit that the tree bears, not how the tree look or how the tree sound, because we may have a limited perception on this person, might have this person misconstrued. So okay, yeah, brother, sister may look or seem or come off this way, but what fruit does he or she bear? You get what I'm saying? So you would need to take a little closer look than that to be able to make a proper adjustment. And when you see it, forget if not. So when you see the good, forget that not either.
Islam.
You know what I mean? Because it's a lot of people that you might think, and they some of the best people that you could ever find.
Praise Allah, brother, for your measure there and the
So I'm
elaboration.
gonna get back to
I
my
think you
middle,
said something very profound, and I feel like you elaborated a little bit more on what was referenced earlier, that carnal nature, and you brought attention to the obvious limitations that we have because of the carnal nature. We only see 7 colors of the spectrum. I think what'd you say? We only see 186,000 miles or something like that. Like, some pretty deep interpretations, and just brings attention to that carnal nature we fighting. So don't get caught up in what things seem to be. So Islam, and so we got 3 more hands raised. So let's keep going.
Let me interject this before we get those other speakers online. But in the chapter on Know Thyself, the prophet said, "Dare not descend to evil." Dare not descend to evil, because the evil plants. It plant a certain action. Terrors are the tails of the serpent. and it clothed the neck of the horse with thunder. Now we have to get into that and figure out what that is. So I'm gonna turn it back over to you, sir. Peace.
Islam. Praise Allah. So let's keep going. Our intentions were to get to chapter 47, and we'll see if we get there. But to the Grand Sheik's point, to the Supreme Grand Sheik's point, and I'm glad you brought this dialogue today, because I see there's another comment from our beloved brother, our Sheik, our Chief of Staff of Temple 14, Ricardo Bay, just commenting that it's great dialogue, and I agree. And I love the emphasis around to that. One of the opening remarks that you made today was ensuring that we conquer, and I'm paraphrasing my interpretation, but essentially we conquer that inconstancy within our nature as we're unfolding into nationality and divine creed, because we're all learning the truth about who we are. We all were conditioned to think we was Negro, and it
That's
was a
right.
very evil act to place that thought in our minds. And praise Allah for our beloved Prophet Noble Drew Ali for restoring the truth about who we are and bringing us back to the constitutional fold of government. So I really hope today we are all examining the inconsistency within ourselves, examining our pessimistic views, the evil we're suspecting in others when we don't even have merit. We don't even have a reason to think like that. So what makes us think like that? What is it? And European psychology, it's the nature, the carnal nature, giving more attention to that rather than the infinite being, the spirit man that we truly are. So Islam, I'm grateful. So let's see who else we got. We got I think the sister, we'll go to Sister D Shipman Bay, then we'll go to our sister Diamond L, then we go back to our Grand Sheik out of Indiana.
Just a bit of commentary. The seeing it, it's our own powers of observation that will allow us to see it. It's evil bears fruit just like good does. To the brother's point. If the fruit that's being born is evil, is not right, then we know what it is. Can't say a apple seed is going to produce an orange. So we got to see that fruit first. We have to see what happens. Let things unfold and then judge them. So just the practical use of the lessons.
Islam.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? I might have to switch devices.
It was kind of
But on
choppy
my
there. I
end,
don't know
I
how it
heard
was
bits
on
and
everybody.
pieces.
Islam. I yield for now. Let me get a new device. Islam.
Islam. So Islam, Sister Diamond.
I just wanted to. That was a powerful vision from all of y'all. So we said that we are beings of feelings, and that we know things from our feelings, and you came in with that. Now it's what we see in chapter 7. The 3-step ladder: belief is first, and this is what man thinks perhaps is true. Faith is next, and this is what man knows is true. See, we got a nature, and to me back to nature urges us of inconstancy. See, we got a seed of our lot already planted, but we got a seed of the environment of the finite that's got planted too, and we be watering it. And we don't take the time to say to look at it as, oh snap, I got objecting beliefs. And beliefs can be tested. And so once the belief is tested and we get the truth, once we see the fruit of the tree, now we can adjust ourselves accordingly. We need to start going by what we know is true, start observing the fact, the truth that man is truth and falsehood strangely mixed, them two seeds. And every day we make a decision to water one or the other.
Islam, you're cutting out as well, sister. I don't know if that's just on my end. Are y'all able to hear it clear, or is it just my phone?
Heard it most clear.
Islam Sheik, it might be you.
Yeah, that's who it
For the
is.
most part.
Islam.
Islam, brother Page Bay.
Islam.
You have the floor
Uh,
while the brother works on his device.
okay. Islam, I reiterate my praises and honors. Praise to the great God, Allah, and highest honors our prophet and the forerunner and all the prophets. I just was listening it when we were kind of going on the evil, and I just wanted to kind of make a point. When we look at the last instruction of inconstancy, and it says, "Establish thy heart, O man, in that which is right, and then know the greatest of human praises is to be immutable." And that just had me think. When we see that, we automatically think that immutability has the connotation of righteousness, but that's not necessarily what it's saying. And what I mean by that is there's people who get up every day pursuing evil and evil acts, and they don't waver in it. And it made me think of when Jesus said in the Bible, those who are lukewarm, you're neither hot nor cold. And sometimes we wonder why the evil people, so-called, or the people who pursue evil, may seem to get ahead or be able to get certain things or advantages. But in many ways, it's because they pick their side, and that is a quality, even though they're evil, that they display is an immutability, is a tenacity to pursue those things of the lower self, and they don't waver from that. And that's what makes the lower self a worthy foe. It's because you can count on him to do his job, and that's why we must ever be on guard, because he can possess that attribute of immutability as well. And that's why it's so important for us to pick our side and move in the ways of constancy in what is right and righteousness to counteract that. Because I had a friend, we talked years ago, and he said a comment that he had gained off the internet, but it was somebody who called himself a so-called devil worshiper or something like that. And he said that we will, this is the devil worshiper now, he said, we will fast for 30 days to do a certain spell and to do a certain thing. And my friend, he took that, and he was basically telling me, he's like, it's amazing. They will do that for 30 days to do something evil. But those who claim righteousness and who claim to pursue and follow the ways of light won't stay consistent in something for 2 days to get their aims and means accomplished. And so just a quick reminder, or just a point, that lower self can be very immutable, and that is a laudable characteristic that we must match it with in our ways of pursuits of righteousness, because that's the only way we can make it balance out and dare to think that we can have victory, even though it is assured. It will be assured by our counteraction as being as immutable as the lower self dares to be. Islam, I yield.
Islam. If I may, before we go to our sister D. Shipman Bay, I just want to just hammer one point in that instruction that our Grand Sheik referenced there. It's in instruction 33, establish thy heart, O man, in that which is right. I just want to deal with that portion and just make a correlation to the higher self to assist us. Remember, what does the higher self breed? Justice, mercy, love, and right. So establish yourself in your heart, that nearest place to me, Allah, in what is right. Just keep your heart fixed on doing the right thing and consciously work towards that day in and day out. And I think that is one way to assist us in making sure that we stay on that right path and don't fall victim to the lower self, that carnal nature that was referenced in the first instruction, that nature urges us to, So Islam. So we're gonna go back to our sister D. Shipman Bay. I think she got a new device now. So Islam, sis.
Islam, I was Camelback, and if I did brother Sheik Page Bay. And he said, it seems like those who practice in the lower self are more successful. And it brought me back to chapter 3, instructions 12 and 13, where the lower self is rich in promises, but poor in blessedness and peace. It offers pleasure, joy, and satisfying gain, but gives unrest, misery, and death. Those people are incredibly unstable and inconstant, because once they get it, they're worried about it going somewhere, as opposed to those of us who remain fixed and remain in the bounds of righteousness. We're able to just kind of float. And you can see that it's like, we cool about it, as opposed to those who are anxious. Islam, and back to the chapter. So I was just tying those two things together because it makes sense to me. It's like, you know what, we good, as long as we remember that if I got a lower self, my brothers and sisters have lower selves too. But those who are firmly and immutable in their lower selves, they got other stuff that we can see the fruit of being miserable, being anxious, being disappointed, being unstable and unrestful. Whereas if we, if we cool, if we got that blessedness and peace, where you at. Islam, the fruit is obvious at that point. Islam.
Islam. Praise Allah unto the prophet, very powerful measure. The Prophet Noble Drew Ali spoke and instructed us not to think in the flesh, nor reason with our bone. That's something for us to contemplate, not to think in the flesh, being judgmental about every physical thing that you see and hear. Man is a spirit and a part of Allah. If you don't see Allah within yourself, you are perpetuating nothing but physical thoughts of yourself and things around you. Man is a spirit. Allah is not a spirit. Allah is the spirit. And those of us are seeds of Allah directly when we raise our thoughts to infinite wisdom. So what I'm saying in a simplicity manner is not to think in the flesh, judging people based on physical behavior, because the lessons demonstrated that nature, we need to study what it says, nature urge, there's an urge you get to distract you, to be inconsistent. So once we understand that behavior and where it come from is line genealogy, is descent nature, then we can kind of like straighten ourselves out a little bit. Islam. Turn it back over to the chairman.
Islam, Morris. Praise Allah and to his prophet. I hope we got some takeaways. And before we close out on this chapter, and introduce the chapter that we're going to introduce tonight and elaborate more on next week, I just would like to open the floor again for anybody that was listening, and maybe if you haven't spoke, or if you would like to share with us your takeaways from this chapter, from this lesson. Find an opportunity. If there's anybody that has any level of confusion around anything, please express yourself so we can give you that clarity. But I just want to again emphasize that I'd love to hear from you. Even if you just want to share, what did you benefit from this? Are you what were your takeaways after hearing all the different speakers and interpretations and applications of how we're living and carrying out these instructions in our lives? So, floor is open, just for final thoughts and takeaways from this chapter, or any clarity that it may be needed for anybody.
Islam.
And I'm not surprised if you don't have anything, because I think it's been hammered and made very, very clear.
I wouldn't say. I mean, I got some acronyms I could share. When we were talking about hope, Hope is having optimistic, positive expectations.
Causing you. So if you find yourself stuck trying to figure out anything, health related, financial related, family related, anything, examine examine inconstancy. Read that chapter in inconstancy. And after you read that chapter, it should help you find resolution. And when you find that resolution, employ it, do it, carry it out, and keep it moving. So Islam. So if there's no other final thoughts or interpretations around or questions around what we've discussed so far, I would like to just move on and just introduce the next chapter that we're going to be kind of touching on and introducing tonight. But I don't want us to get too deep into that tonight, because I think right now we got inconstancy to reflect on within ourselves. That's most important. Everybody should tonight, actually, you should start being more consistent with yourself. Tonight, you should be able to find resolutions in your life. Tonight, you should be able to fix your problems. Tonight, you should wake up with a boundless joy tomorrow, because you know that you have resolution within you. It's been hammered that Allah and man are one. And if you're struggling, it's just your carnal nature that you must fight. And without a foe, a soldier never knows his strength. And remember, a foe must be conquered. And this foe we talking about is your lower self, your carnal self. Conquer him. Tame him to his purpose. Islam. We had a question in the group chat. Said, where is the temple located? Islam. Well, this is obviously a virtual meeting, but we have different leaders from all around the country on the line today. So where is it located? I think first thing I would recommend, and this is to everybody listening, get back to whoever invited you to this call. Follow up with them and get connected to the temple. However you found out that this call was going on tonight, contact that individual and come back. Because again, there's only one prophet and one temple. But there are various branch temples. And we have representation from different branch temples. We have leadership from different states. We have members, visitors, and probably some brand new, just general public people. I don't even know. This is a public call. So whoever is desiring to learn about the Holy Koran and the Moorish Science Temple of America, they you're welcome to be on. So if you're, just follow up with whoever invited you to the call, and they will be able to guide you to the temple that they are a faithful member to. And you continue to grow and unfold with us. Come back next Wednesday and we'll do it all over again. Every Wednesday, you're going to catch us right here on the line, demonstrating the holy breath. And so Islam, before I go on to the host of the meeting, where is this temple? I'm part of Temple 27. Hold on. Let me read the comments again. Make sure we address everybody's concerns. The host of the meeting, where is this temple? I'm part of Soul Temple 27. I'm just one Islam. Well, praise Allah. You part of Temple 27. So again, this temple, I serve as the Supreme Grand spokesperson. I'm a member of the Grand Major Temple, Temple number 1, located in Mecca, Chicago, Illinois. But again, we're all around the country. So, we got, I just, from what I know right now, we got some Indiana, New Jersey, Chicago, Alabama, Virginia, Georgia, a few different places on the line. So, but Islam, welcome, everybody, welcome. Before I go on to read the final chapter, I just want to read something else. We touched on it last week as we introduced the Koran, and I would like to reiterate this. Ideally, before every Koran study class, we just really reflect on what we're doing. First, remember from the excerpt on the Moorish Science Temple of America, remember that we are building on human needs. Humans need to be consistent. Humans need resolution. Humans need to stop being inconstant. So hopefully you can see that tonight, that you're literally getting lessons on how to assist you to be more consistent in your life and to ensure you got resolution in your life, so we can end the unhappiness that too many people suffer because of our thoughts. Pessimistic, evil thoughts, evil thinking causes us to suffer We don't have to, man. We can find balance, joy, and create a heaven on earth for ourselves if we use the lessons of this Holy Koran. So with that, that's going to take me to number 23 in our Morris literature, which is entitled Masterpiece of Religious Literature, Secrets of Other Creeds Revealed. And this was published on Friday, December 15th, 1928. So we're coming up on about another month. It'll be December 15th. So here we are, almost 100 years later, in the year 2000s again, in the 20s again, still applying and working these lessons out, man. Praise Allah. But let's talk about this. Masterpiece of Religious Literature, Secrets of Other Creeds Revealed. Friday, December 15th, 1928. The Prophet Noble Drew Ali has spent many hours preparing the latest edition of the Quran, which will be a masterpiece of religious literature. To Americanize the Oriental idea of Islam involves many changes that are more or less negative to the main purpose of the Islamic religion. Such changes are carefully considered with the idea to avoid changing the complexion of the original text. The philosophy of the ancient prophets is the main initiative in this compilation of the Quran. No thoughts of propaganda enter this work, as has been the case of many former religious works, such as the Bible and other books of creed. The sole purpose of the prophet in giving such a message to the world is to save fallen humanity. When a compiler attempts to inject propaganda into a work of this kind, there arises a need to cover the true text in order to prevent a clash with the true and ideas involved in such propaganda. Former works of this kind have either hindered or helped the nations proportionately to the adherence to the truth as to the original purpose of keeping the ignorant in such a state. It is hard to resist the temptation to use this medium for gain. Hence, many of the former treaties on works of this kind have been the means to foster ideas of the unscrupulous, wherein they desire to use religious influence for gain. Pardon me 1 second. I hear my daughter. Hold on. Hold on. All right. That's what happens when you stay up past your bedtime. Hold on, boys. Pardon me. Y'all know we got to get our daddy on. All
It's
right,
actually
I'm back. What's that?
which article you reading?
I'm on number 25, Masterpiece of Religious Literature, Secrets of Other Creeds Revealed. But I'm back. But former works of this kind, no, I just read that part. The many secrets known to the prophet that could be used for the salvation of the nation were either left out or colored to an extent that their meaning was made void. Such is not the case with this edition of the Quran. All the secrets of the ages known to man are put into this work. The secrets known only to the Magi are here revealed. The reading of the stars, the interpretation of marriage relations, the understanding of the span of life, and others such as has been kept from the Occidental world are in this book boldly brought out. The Quran, Americanized as it will be, can be bought in a few weeks. It will be sent to all governors of the Moorish Science Temple of America by Prophet Noble Drew Ali. So I just wanted to read that aspect just so we can really understand and appreciate what we have in our hands and really understand the intent and the purpose of us coming together to have these Holy Koran study classes and really understand we have the masterpiece of religious literature and all the secrets of other creeds have been revealed and brought up to us boldly so that we can comprehend and understand the inner workings of life and who we are and just continue to grow and unfold. So Islam, and with that, as we prepare to, I guess, just introduce the next chapter, because obviously we got this meeting is scheduled from 7 to 9 Central Time, and we are at the hour of 8:36. We'll be bringing this meeting to a close, but I would like to at least read chapter 47 to prepare us for next week's demonstration. And in fact, because as y'all can hear, my daughter's still cutting up. I got to get her straight real quick. This is D. Shipman Bay. Are you able to read chapter 47?
Islam, Sheik.
Islam. We're gonna yield to our sister D. Shipman Bay for her just to read chapter 47. Islam.
Islam, the divine instructions from the Holy Prophet, chapter 47, Egypt, the capital empire of the Dominion of Africa. The inhabitants of Africa are the descendants of the ancient Canaanites from the land of Canaan. Old man Cush and his family are the first inhabitants of Africa who came from the land of Canaan. His father Ham and his family were second. Then came the word Ethiopia, which means the demarcation line of the dominion of Amexem, the first true and divine name of Africa, the dividing of the land between the Father and the Son. The dominion of Cush, northeast and southeast Africa, and northwest and southwest was his father's dominion of Africa. In later years, many of their brethren from Asia and the Holy Lands joined them. The Moabites from the land of Moab, who received permission from the pharaohs of Egypt to settle and inhabit northwest Africa, they were the founders of the true possessors of the present Moroccan Empire. With their Canaanite, Hittite, and Amorite brethren who sojourned from the land of Canaan seeking new homes. Their dominion and inhabitation extended from northeast and southwest Africa, across Great Atlantis, even unto present North, South, and Central America, and also Mexico and the Atlantis Islands, before the great earthquake which caused the Great Atlantic Ocean. The river Nile was dredged and made by the ancient pharaohs of Egypt in order to trade with the surrounding kingdoms. Also, the Niger River was dredged by the great pharaoh of Egypt in those ancient days for trade, and it extended eastward from the river Nile, westward across the great Atlantic. It was used for trade and transportation. According to all true and divine records of the human race, there is no Negro, black, or colored race attached to the human family, because all inhabitants of Africa were and are of the human race, descendants of the ancient Canaanite nation from the Holy Land of Canaan. What your ancient forefathers were, you are today, without doubt or contradiction. There is no one who is able to change man from the descent nature of forefathers, unless his power extends beyond the great universal creator, Allah himself. These holy and divine laws are from the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, the founder of the Uniting of the Moorish Science Temple of America. These laws are to be strictly preserved by the members of all the temples of the Moorish Science Temple of America, that they will learn to open their meeting and guide it according to the principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Every subordinate temple of the Grand Major Temple is to form under the covenant of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and to create their own laws and customs in conjunction with the laws of the Holy Prophet and the Grand Temple. I, the Prophet, Noble Drew Ali, was sent by the great God Allah to warn all Asiatics of America to repent from their sinful ways before that great and awful day that is sure to come. The time has come when every nation must worship under its own vine and fig tree, and every tongue must confess his own. Through sin and disobedience, every nation has suffered slavery due to the fact that they honored not the creed and principles of their forefathers. That is why the nationality of the Moors was taken away from them in 1774, and the word Negro, black, and colored was given to the Asiatics of America, who were of Moorish descent, because they honored not the principles of their father and mother, and strayed after the gods of Europe, of whom they knew nothing.
Mm. Pretty deep. And we haven't even got to interpretation and breaking it down in no portions. That's the beauty of these instructions. They're pretty simple and plain, and we're going to be dealing with this chapter next week and really digging deep, really get an understanding of, hey, Egypt, the capital empire of the Dominion of Africa. According to all true and divine records of the human race, there is no Negro, black, or colored race attached to the human family. Like, we're going to really be digging into this chapter. So I encourage you all to bring your Bible as well, because we may have to touch on that. And before I elaborate any further, because we have our Supreme Grand Sheik on the line, I want to yield to him for this explanation for this question, because I don't know about where y'all came from, but growing up, I came from the church. I grew up in Christianity. And then when I finally started studying the Koran, it talked about how Christianity is all right for those who prefer. It talked about some things, but it also talked about, and we went over this last week, how we got to in chapter 48, how we have to return the church and Christianity back to the European nations. But there's a popular oral statement from our beloved prophet Noble Drew Ali where he says not to throw away our Bible. And I'm paraphrasing, but he said not to throw away your Bible because he's going to use it to condemn the government. And I would just love for our Supreme Grand Sheik to share his portion as to why, and how do we not throw away our Bible, but return the church and Christianity back to the European nations?
Well, praise Allah to his prophet. First of all, the Bible in itself is the upside down truth. And the genealogy of the Bible speaks to the history of our forefathers and mothers, not to the Europeans or Christianity that was found in Antioch in Rome. Rome has nothing to do with the historical genealogy or descent of the ancient Moabites, Canaanites, Hittites, etc. So what we're going to do, we're going to take that very book that they've been using on our people to show the world how they dealt in falsehood and portrayed every prophetic divine origin of the Asiatic nation. We can go further into that, but we're going to save that for next week. Peace.
Islam, man. Oh, man. So next week, we need to bring our Bibles too, as well as the Holy Koran of the Moorish Science Temple of America. We're going to introduce another one, the Holy Text, and give you the Moorish interpretation. And it's a few things I would like to add to reinforce what our beloved Supreme Grand Sheik has demonstrated on that is Acts 6 also references that the Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites. And Grand Sheik, if you can just help me for clarity purposes, are they talking about the chapter on Ruth the Moabitess in the Koran? I'm gonna say in the Bible.
Say that again.
And in Acts 6, where it says that the Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites who inhabited the southwest and the northwestern shores of Africa, is that a reference to the chapter on Ruth the Moabitess? And what is the relation of Ruth the Moabitess to us?
Line genealogy to Jesse, Ob, David, even Jesus himself was of the true blood of ancient Canaanite and Moabite, on down to your mother and your grandmother and their grandmother, etc., etc. We all connected to the human family. According to verse 9, we don't want to go too deep. There is no Negro, black, or color attached to the human family. So once we begin to break those things down and find out our rightful place in the affairs of men, the resurrection would be a fact.
Islam.
So I want to save the little bit I got for next week.
Islam. Islam. I'm just probing the grand man because it's some wisdom, man. It's much wisdom to be learned for the redemption of the sons of man under love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And now we demonstrating under love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice.
No doubt.
And additional support that a few assignments that I would like to challenge us to do in preparation of next week. Obviously, bring your Koran and your Bible. But I just want to reference a few things. First, I want everybody to look up Public Law 97-280. You can look it up in Google on your own spare time, but look it up. Public Law 97-280. I also would like for everyone to do some research around fee simple absolute estate. What is it? What is a fee simple absolute estate? What is that?
Can you repeat that public law one more time?
That I want everybody to just do some independent research around Public Law 97-280. I would like for everybody to do some independent research around a fee simple absolute estate. What is it? And I also would like for us I got a couple of Bible references, and I don't know, I guess I can save them for next week too.
Yeah,
but I got some. Do that, save it.
Yeah, Islam. Yeah.
My bad. I'm getting excited, man. Y'all got me on fire, Mo. Islam. I'm ready to go another 2 hours. But
No,
in
no,
respect for
sir.
everybody's time, y'all know we got to open and close promptly according to the Circle 7 in love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. So as we prepare to bring this Koran study class to a close, um, just want to thank everybody for your time. And we're going to read and close out with a couple of readings that we have in our Morris literature, which are to be proclaimed at every meeting. So let me get this out and read these, and I hope everybody is full and appreciated the lessons around building on human needs that we touched on tonight. And I hope that your human spirit is on fire with love and holy zeal, and you got some resolutions. Islam, but to be proclaimed at every meeting. Islam. I am glad to know that I have a few faithful Moors amongst you all, and I desire for them to know the truth and the divine truth. There is a host of jealousy about me and the movement now by the same people of our side of the nation that claim that I was only a joke and unreal. But now, since they have found out from the government officials and the nations of the earth that this is the only sole foundation that all Asiatics must depend upon for their earthly salvation as American citizens, they are working every scheme that they can to disqualify me so they may take charge of the situation. I have notified all these things to you long ago in the past. It is through the faithful Moors, the ones that paid their divine respect to me and the movement, will be remembered. That is why I am calling upon all faithful Moors to increase their faithfulness to me, your prophet, and your divine Moorish movement. I need finance, and I need it badly. Never before have I needed finance so badly as I do at present, so I can shove aside the discord that is facing the nation. It all comes through jealousy, because of my fame and nobility. The nations of the world will not recognize the movement without I, the prophet, being head. It has been proven by my works, which I have performed in the past few years, Prophet Noble Drew Ali. To the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Islam, this is the instruction from your Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Be faithful unto your forefathers' divine and national creed, that you will be blessed for your good deeds that you sow in the flesh. Allah is the one that judges the world, and his judgment is now on. But the weak can comprehend it not. The end of time is drawing near, so says Allah to his divine prophet, I, Noble Drew Ali. And that's why many hearts have been turned to stone, and many have eyes to see, but cannot see, ears to hear, but cannot hear, lest they would be confounded of their sins. These are the trying hours now, dear Moors, and every evil spirit is moving, and they are trying every weak mind to overthrow and drag out the true foundation that has been laid, and to cause confusion in the minds of the ones that do believe. But if you have the true love of Allah and the spirit of your forefathers, you fear not what you hear or see, but will sacrifice the utmost of your very life to protect your movement and your prophet. Watch your enemies, dear Moors. Your enemies are the ones that speak against your prophet and ridicule him to the very lowest, and the ones that speak against your divine and national principles of your temples. Act accordingly, and Allah will bless you for your good work. Peace, your divine prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Islam. Now, I would like to, before I read the warning, then we have our treasurer on the line. I would like for her to read Act 3, and then I'm going to provide some guidance around how we can demonstrate Act 3 in these settings, in these meetings.
Islam. It is the lawful and divine duty of every good member. He is able in finance to aid me in saving the nation. And if he does not, he's an enemy to the cause of uplifting his own people, and justice must catch you. Let it be he or she according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, as I have the power invested in my hands, and I will have to enforce the law in order to save the nation. Islam.
Islam. So, and that is a custom that we read in every meeting. That is an opportunity for people to contribute, pay dues, donate, subscribe as much as you're able to the Moorish Uplifting Fund. And with this being a public meeting and we have different leadership from all around the country, my encouragement to everyone is, again, like I said earlier, get back to whoever invited you to the call, and please contribute to support your local, your branch temple, or whatever temple that is in your community that you're a member of. If you would like to contribute here, you can. I'm sure the treasurer, she can share the Cash App that this temple uses. However, I really encourage everybody to get with whoever invited you to the call. Get with your Grand Sheik. If you have funds and finance you would like to contribute to the Moorish Uplifting Fund, please support your temple that's in your city or the local temple that you are a member of in leadership, because there's lots of work and we do need finance. And know that the most important financial contribution you can share is your presence and your sincerity, because you are valuable. You are worth more than you can imagine. So thank you all just for being here, taking the time out of your evening to tuning in. In the final reading, I will read the Prophet warns all Muslims, governors, order to read proclamation at each meeting. For officials, if you are able, please rise. If you can't rise, just stay on high and apply these instructions. Friday, January 15th, 1929. I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical agitating speeches while at work, in their homes, or on the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, and when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings toward the temple or the prophet, or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement, will receive the reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the law as laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their cardinal button, cease wearing their turban and fez, and return to the state where either prophet found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the prophet Noble Drew Ali. And if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet, therefore, is sending out the divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting their prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways. Noble Drew Ali. Islam, Moors. And last announcement, we have another national call that's public tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. Central Time. This call is entitled it's a True American Citizens Political Action Committee. You can tune into that call, and the agenda will be sent and shared with all governing heads. And essentially, it's a call where we kind of speak to different political endeavors, ideas, things we're working on to help us get more politically savvy and more active as we take our place amongst the affairs of man. But that is, again, another public call. And then we have Friday is a holy day. So please attend your meeting. Get with whoever invited you to the call this evening. And if you're not a member of the temple, then please tune in on Fridays. And when you're ready to live according to the laws, proclaim and join the temple. Until then, hold your feet, hold your seat, just steadfast, listen, and continue to grow and unfold. Islam. The fallen sons and daughters of the Asiatic nations of North America need to learn to love instead of hate, and to know of their higher self and lower self. This is the uniting of the Holy Koran of Mecca for the teaching and instructing of all Moorish Americans, etc. The Holy Koran of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Know yourself and your Father God, Allah, that you may learn to love instead of hate. Every man need to worship under his own vine and fig tree, the uniting of Asia. Islam. May we all rise for the reciting of the Moorish American prayer to be led by our sisters. So if you a sister on the line, I'm asking you to please unmute your line and for y'all to lead us in harmony with the Moorish American prayer.
Allah, the Father of the universe,
Allah, the Father of the universe,
the Father of love,
Father of love,
truth,
truth,
peace,
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 freedom,
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 and justice.
and justice.
and justice.
Allah is
Allah is
my,
my protector,
Allah is my protector,
my
my
guide,
guide,
and my salvation
and my salvation,
by
by
night
night
by night
and by
and by day.
and by day,
Through his
through
holy
his holy
prophet,
through his holy prophet,
Drew Ali.
true.
true Ali.
Amen.
Amen.
Islam, Moors, go in peace.
Islam.
Have a
Peace and
wonderful
love.
evening. Peace and love. Love you all.
Peace and
Islamism.
love. Love
Peace and
y'all.
love.
Islam.
Islamors.
Peace and love.
Islam.
Good night.
Islamism.
Great class. Great class.
Amazing class.